Welcome to Takes Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, a professional moment. As for recording time of 2:07 p.m. on Eastern Time, Ethereum could trade $3,116, up about 6.30% so far. As you can see clearly on the crypto market and the equity market, we are bright green at the moment, with some selective altcoin very prominently up right now, approximately 8.5%. To even with selective altcoin to even 11% so far. On the equity side as well, our Dow Jones currently up about 1%, Nasdaq's also up about close to 2%, while S&P is also up about 1.28% at the moment. And again, what's driving this reversal or some bullish sentiment among investors today is mainly coming from the key factors in a macro affectation perspective, right? The Russian-Ukraine war seems like the tension is slowly being mitigated. It's just on a highly, more of a observatory type of perspective. That's the Russian Minister of Defense said that the troops are slowly moving back into their respective military garrisons, and they basically depleted. I think I looked into some of the media adaptation and some specific verbiage across multiple different publications. They've shaved down the 100,000 troops on the defense front to almost half of that. At around like 60,000, basically lining up by the Ukraine border at the moment, right? So a partial troops pullback, kind of, I guess, subliminally or directly, depending on how you think about it. I'm not a political scientist. So some sort of a pullback on their defense mechanism, if you may, but I'm not sure if that's a really confirmatory signal that the war is not happening anymore, because if it was not happening anymore at all together, all the troops would be basically going back to the garrison, right? Ultimately, I do not know what's happening. I know that the meeting that is hosted by the Chancellor of Germany between the President of Ukraine and Russia is happening, I think, today and obviously yesterday. But with that observation being pulled back, which is the big key word, driving some buying pressure across the spectrum, right? In addition to that, other news that I'm looking into, more specifically for crypto, there's some interesting news that happened about a couple hours ago with respect to Fidelity in Europe. Okay, so Fidelity, as you know, is like a brokerage company similar to like an E-Trade, Ameritrade. They are launching their own Bitcoin ETP. In Europe with the cheapest fees available, right? So this is an interesting international proposition that this US-based investment firm is initializing. So obviously with that affectation, driving buying pressure for Bitcoin for obvious reasons. And then the other thing that is more of a stale news, but this is more of a slap on the wrist type of news, not a very prominently direct affectation, but obviously still negative. In respect to BlockFi, as you know, it's this Peter Thiel-backed crypto startup. They are expected to be paying $100 million in settlements with the Security Exchange Commission with 32 states. Okay, so it seems like they are in some violation with respect to their crypto lending products. Right? And the reason they're getting fines because they never really went through the whole SEC cadence, right? And what they're doing now, obviously, to put the bandage on their wound is to reapply or start to apply officially for the first time to register with the SEC to offer a new crypto saving product called the BlockFi Yield. So this is something that they're initializing. Obviously, this is a negative affectation. It's not a good one, but $100 million in comparisons to $1 trillion of a market cap. And obviously, BlockFi does have a lot of circulatory dynamics that can be a hindrance onto specifically for the whole crypto ecosystem. But, the affectation that we saw is not a very seismic one. Obviously, there are other platforms that's in play, right? Binance, like Coinbase, obviously BlockFi, etc., etc. So one of them is a small slap on the wrist, but still a negative one. But seems like they are progressing nicely. It's gonna legally and tactically correct itself over time as they get the registration from the SEC to get the passing. But obviously, the $100 million is a large amount, but it could be also think about that in a small amount in a relative perspective, right? So okay, so with respect to that kind of a overall positive with a big flag around pending status on the non-confirmatory signal around the Russian-Ukraine war that still seems like it's mitigating, but not like it seems like it's good progressing in the optimistic direction based on media expectation. But to be the truth, I don't really know what's the real behind the scenes or what's really going on right now, right? They might be just having amicable discussions or debate, right? But debate or argument can turn sour, and again, it doesn't take a lot for the war to break out, right? And I again, being optimistically speaking, I hope that does not work the way that the media is saying. Again, we have to take that grain of salt, right? Because the news that we're reading is coming from America, right? So U.S. based publication company might have their own specific point of view as to what they want to be, portraying or describing to influence the U.S. investors market, right? So the European side of the nation, they might see a very different side of the flavor in terms of the news. They might think that it's not as severe as like the U.S. news is saying. So something to think about again, right? We have to understand that the target audience is for their respective reader, right? Which for us, reading from the United States, that's the news that we're getting fed from. Okay, so something to think about just just to be double sensitive with that spidey sense. You know what I'm trying to say? So without wasting more time, let's just dive into the technical analysis with respect to recording time of 2:14 p.m. on Eastern time. Ethereum contract $3,116, up about 6.35% so far. Right now we are basically about $30 below the 3,150. Right, we bounced from the 2,850. Right, with the 56 out of 70. So in terms of is this a good level to buy right now? I would say it's not the best level, to be honest, because of the fact that, if we try to say it's a cup and handle, we have not completely formed a cup yet. And we are relatively overbought, right? So I think probably best to be just holding at the moment right now. Respect to Bitcoin, up about 4% so far. We are above the level. We are basically gliding at a comfortable level of 44, right? So if we break this current level, we're going to go back to 40. If we go above this level, we're going to go all the way to 48, right? So, but what's the probability of actually going up, right? We're at the 60 out of 70 already. So it's relatively on the upper echelon of the neutral level. Nearly overbought, obviously. 70s will be overbought, right? So I think the risk to reward ratio right now for us to incur right now is not the most favorable, but ultimately holding for now would be the best policy. Respect to Dogecoin, up about 2.63%. I like anywhere from basically 13.85 all the way to 12 cents from here. Cardano is at 109 right now. I like anywhere from basically 102 all the way to 92 cents from here. That's 46 out of 70. So not the best, not the worst, but definitely not the most optimal level to buy right now. Solana's up about 8%. I don't know why I keep showing the weekly perspective. Right now it's at the 101. I like anywhere from basically 91 all the way to 80 with the 43 out of 70 right now. Not the best level to incur risk right now, but it's not terrible in comparisons to like relatively other ones, right? XRP is up about 5% at the moment. We are at an okay level, 60 out of 70. Again, not the best, right? It seems like, we have that one shot that pumped up, right? Whatever goes up really, really fast comes down just as fast. So we do have a large gap, right? So the risk for reward ratio is not the best, right? I think ultimately, to be more risk averse, I think anywhere from 60 to 57 is still better level for us to incur. Polkadot right now up about 8% so far. It's 1986. I like anywhere from basically 1864 all the way to 1587 from here with a 45 out of 70. Algorand's up about 7%, 94 right now. I like anywhere from basically 90 all the way to 79 from here, the 41 out of 70. It's okay, not the best, not the worst again, right? A lot of just like mediocre level across the board. Shiba Inu is up about close to 4% right now. Again, right, low 2000s, 1400 to 900 from here. MacTag is up about 8% so far. We are at the comfortable level. We broke above the 176, right? So I'll give the benefit of doubts that we are exactly at the comfortable level right now. So the level we need to get up to right now is either up to the $2, which is, you have a real stretch to get up there, and we are at the 50 out of 70 already. So I'll probably not do so right now. I'll just incur risk at 143 to 120 from here. AVAX up about 10% right now. We are at 50 out of 70. We are also trying to get a cup and handle at the same time to reach at 91, which is the next resistance level. If we break the next level, it's obviously 100, right? So that could be a real stretch to get up there. You could see that how many times we have basically canceled out many times, right? You could see that many blockades we get up to 100. So I think for me, I would probably not buy right now. I would just wait until we cool back down to 67 minimum, or 50 to 50, 60 to 50 from here. Luna is up about 4.27% at 56 right now, at the 60 out of 70 as well. Again, right, with respect to current level, 62, 52 to 45 from here, we are basically $4 above 52. It's okay, right? At 47 out of 70 is relatively neutral, not the best, not the worst, right? Again, if I was to choose, 45 would be a better level for us, right? So across the board, across the spectrum, I would say we are, I would say net positive based on the current investment sentiment. Obviously, you see that it's green right now, but there's still some lingering pending news, right? Obviously, this BlockFi news came out to be a negative one, but it's a slap on the wrist, not really a major one. And on top of the Russian-Ukraine war, seems like it's subsiding, so we're driving some buying pressure. In addition to that, on the interest hikes perspective, the FOMC meeting doesn't happen until March, right? I think in mid-March. So we technically do have, a good 20 days away from the next big catalyst. So for us to see, more positivity, wouldn't be surprising to me. But on the technical front, we are relatively stretched for selective coins right now. So I would be probably, the best signal just to be holding at the moment right now. All right. Well, appreciate you for joining me on this Tuesday afternoon. I do have meetings lined up later today, so probably this is going to be my last one. But appreciate you for joining me again, and look out for my Patreon buy sell updates that I'll be posting momentarily. Take care. Bye.